Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine with Behind the Markets. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, November 24th. And today I'd like to talk a little bit more about energy, electricity specifically. We talked Friday about NVIDIA, their data center, the fact that 90% of the revenue comes from data centers, a very big deal. And you get the sense, you understand that all around the country, all these hyperscalers are building these massive football field plus size data centers. And they're trying to build big brains. Just imagine all these NVIDIA chips in servers, and they're all connected together, and they're all thinking, and it's just like one massive brain. It's very interesting how this is evolving. So you have Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta, all these other tech companies, they're spending tens of billions of dollars to build these massive new facilities to, again, house thousands of power-hungry graphic GPUs, basically, that are designed to run and train AI. And the problem they have is they need electricity. So let's say you build a massive data center in the middle of Wyoming. Now, how do you power it? You can't just plug it in somewhere, right? That's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. So you can't plug it in somewhere. So how do you power it? What plug do you use to keep that thing on, to keep the lights on? They need electricity. And the bad news for them is the Bitcoin miners, they got there first. Miners, Bitcoin miners in that business, for years I thought it was just ridiculous, but here we are. Bitcoin miners, their whole business, they're using complicated math, and they've created these also data centers. And more importantly, they've signed these long-term energy contracts because they built these data centers before these hyperscalers. They're not as big, of course, but they were using these GPUs and built these data centers before. So they had run into this problem 5 years ago. And they locked in these long-term energy contracts, these electricity contracts. They need desperately electricity. It's really been interesting how these hyperscalers now are coming and knocking on the door of these Bitcoin miners. And they're saying, look, you could help us by being part of our data center, or you could sell us some of your electricity, whatever. You can get paid on this too. And it's really interesting because there's one Bitcoin miner that's trading at a couple dollars a share. It's amazing. It's my personal favorite of these. You hear about Core Scientific and all these other companies. And they have electricity contracts for 1.3 gigawatts of electricity. Now, I took my son to see Back to the Future. It was re-released in the movie theater. We went a couple weeks ago to see the original Back to the Future. And you remember the professor, and he'd say, how much energy do you need to get back to 1984? And Michael J. Fox says, he finds out it's 1.21 gigawatts. 1.21 gigawatts. He's amazed. Oh my God, that's so much electricity. So they end up hooking the thing to the electricity, and they get that into the car, and he goes back to the future. Anyway, one company that we follow, Takeover Targets, we've been talking about for a while, is a Bitcoin miner, has 1.3 gigawatts of electricity locked in. Tells you what they're doing. They just hired onto their board a guy who was the board of directors at Amazon Web Services, AWS. So 12 years. When he says in his joining the company speech, I'm excited to join at such a transformative time for the company and overall digital infrastructure industry. Their strategic pivot to HPC AI, which is high performance computing and AI, aligns perfectly with my passion for building scalable, innovative enterprise and data center technologies with a robust 1.3 gigawatts energy pipeline, including over 1 gigawatt in Pennsylvania. We have what hyperscalers want, power and lots of it. I look forward to leveraging my expertise to help capitalize on surging demand for this infrastructure to drive sustainable long-term value for the company and its stakeholders. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. This company, this $2 stock, is trading like a Bitcoin miner with Bitcoin going down, okay? But it's pivoting to HPC, high performance computing, AI hyperscaler, infrastructure company. And that means that it should be trading at 2 to 3 times. It should be trading at $6 to $10 a share, basically. Right now, it's trading like a Bitcoin miner with Bitcoin prices going down, but it should be trading because it's transitioning. That's a funny word these days, transitioning. Doesn't really mean what it used to, but a company transitioning to an AI hyperscaler. So If it completes this transition, it should be trading much higher than today's prices. But again, it's Caterpillar going to Butterfly. So, that is happening. And that's where I've come to find in my career, you get good opportunities when Wall Street doesn't perceive something as it is, it perceives it as it was. You often get these great little opportunities. Anyway, that's all I have today. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.